I've been playing Hell Let Loose for 4 years now, since it first released in 2019 in early access. I've been with the game through its highs, through its lows, its other highs, and the downright awful. And while the game has changed a lot since its initial Kickstarter, and it's even changed quite a bit since its early access release, like I think at the beginning, commanders couldn't even build garrisons, for example. And we know that Team 17 are working on the game. They're still trying to really sort of figure out their vision and push the game forward in whatever direction they're going to take it. I still think there's other improvements they can make to the game, improvements that Team 17 may not be thinking of, and I want to go over those in this video. You may or may not agree with these ideas that I've come up with, so let me know what you think about them in the comments below and your own ideas. First off, rework every single weapon in the game. And my reasons for this is because each weapon fits into a specific class, we'll say. All the self-loading rifles, like the M1 Garand SVT-40 and bolt action rifles, all fit into the rifle category, where they one-shot people to the chest up to 200 meters, and all the SMGs, Grease Gun, PPSH, MP40 Thompson, they all two-shot people to the chest up to 75 meters. Automatic rifles, STG, FG42, BAR, they one-shot people up to 100 meters. Sniper rifles, one-shot kill to the chest at infinite range, because putting a scope on a Kar 98 makes the bullets do more damage for some reason. So I propose take a look at each of these weapons, the ammo they use, and look at adjusting bullet velocity, recoil, how far the one-hit kill range is. Give each weapon its own actual identity instead of just, oh, it's a rifle. And do the same for all the other weapons. I'm no firearm expert, so I can't really give specific examples of what they absolutely should do to certain weapons. But for example, the Thompson has a lower muzzle velocity than the MP40 based on the ammo it uses and other stuff. And I think generally the Thompson would have more recoil compared to the MP40, to make adjustments based on that as well. Just make them a bit more different compared to each other. And while you're looking at weapons, just add a fire selector for any weapon that should have it. It's a standard feature in first-person shooters. I don't know how many years this has been a standard feature. Even Call of Duty has a fire selector, and probably no one ever uses it in Call of Duty because they're all just using aimbots anyway to full auto spray people down from halfway across the map. Put a fire selector in, and put in the rate of fire selector for the BAR, because that has a rate of fire selector. Also, give bipods to weapons that should have them, namely the BAR and the FG42. The nodes in Hell Let Loose have been reworked a few times from its initial release, and I think currently with nodes, all you really do, you can spawn in straight away, you can drop supplies as a support at your HQ and build some nodes at your HQ, or drop supplies from the supply truck as soon as you can and just build nodes there and you're done. That's it. Back in the day, with nodes, the further you built them up towards the enemy's base, the more resources they would generate. That would add a big risk v reward situation. And I think they should look at going back to that, because, yeah, right now, with how resources work, how the nodes work, I think they could just get rid of them. Just get rid of nodes and leave resources just generating as usual, or go for this risk v reward situation where you can build them further up the map and generate resources. The resource node system right now feels like a complete afterthought. I remember ages ago when Black Matter owned Hell Let Loose, they did mention in one of their dev briefs that resource nodes would be upgradable. It looks like that has been completely ditched, but I swear I remember reading that just once in one dev brief. Maybe even do that. Upgrade resource nodes, which maybe changes their model just a little bit, and then it generates more resources. So I've been playing quite a bit of squad recently. Been playing quite a bit of the infantry overhaul tests, which greatly overhauls the infantry combat, and it's been really, really good. And I've also just released a video of Brothers in Arms, the 3-game series of World War II squad-based shooters, and in those two games, within your squad, as a squad leader, at least in squad, you can set up to have 2 different fire teams within your squad, and you put different soldiers within your squad into those fire teams, and those fire team leaders can put down markers for your squad, and really it's kind of a bit easier as a squad leader to say, fire team Alpha, go do this, fire team Bravo, go do this. And Brothers in Arms, as a squad leader, you command 2 different squads. I think they should introduce fire teams to Hell Let Loose. Now, with a squad size of 6, I'm not sure how well that would work. Maybe a squad size of 6 is too low. Maybe, like squad, they could make squads be a squad size of 9, and then fire teams will work a lot better. I just think the squad size of 6 right now it's just too low. And playing squad, and I think Postscriptum has like a greater squad size than 6. It's not unmanageable at all. It's completely manageable. You just need people with microphones that actually speak and actually listen to stuff. Could also give your team like a greater utility because you'd have more roles in your squad, and maybe that would lead to riflemen actually getting picked because ammo would be needed across the squad maybe a little bit more. When you die and respawn in Hell Let Loose, you consume manpower from the commander. At least I think that's still the case. I don't know if that's been changed recently, but yeah, that's a thing. And probably not a lot of people know that's a thing. But I think there should be a greater consequence to death in Hell Let Loose, but I'm just not sure what that consequence should be. In games like Squad or Battlefield, when you die, you consume a ticket, and when your team gets to 0 tickets, you lose the game. They should not bring that system to Hell Let Loose. They should leave Hell Let Loose as it is when it comes to winning the game. There's no tickets, it's just a time limit or you capture all the objectives. I just think there needs to be a greater consequence to dying, which would make the medic class more important, because right now there's barely any medics. I've recently been playing medic and there's so many people that just give up when they get downed, even though they're behind cover, quite far away from a garrison or outpost, and they've still got a good amount of ammo. They'll just give up because they're just so used to there being no medics. But I think if there was a consequence to dying, instead of just respawning back at your outpost or garrison, then people would probably wait round for medics a bit more. But like I said, I just don't know what that consequence should be. Now, my next point, I can't really give a lot of information on, because it's to do with tanks, and I've barely played tanks in Hell Let Loose. But speaking to any tank player that's played Postscriptum, they will tell you that Postscriptum has a much better and deeper tank system than Hell Let Loose. Hell Let Loose has a more simpler tanking system, so I think they just need to make tanks better, improve the system, improve how the armor penetration works and how shots ricochet and all that stuff. I just can't really go into much detail about it because I'm not a tank player. All the maps in Hell Let Loose are currently the exact same size. If you was to play probably any other large scale shooter, let's say Squad, Postscriptum, the large maps on Battlefield, they're different sizes. So I think they do need to bring larger and smaller maps to Hell Let Loose. I know there is the objective and skirmish mode come in at some point, which I'll probably make a video on that at some point as well. But yeah, I think they needed to give us different size maps, so some larger maps, or different shapes of maps instead of just a rectangle. Give us a bit more variation than just these same size rectangles. You must be able to do it. It can't be hard coded into the game that you can only have maps of this certain size, I guess. I mean, it wouldn't make sense really if it was like that. And it can't be like that since you're making smaller maps. Give us some super big maps which would fit into another idea I've got of a new mode, a tank only mode. Imagine having a huge map where you have 20 tanks fighting 20 tanks or something. That would be, for the tank players, awesome. But for us infantry players, it wouldn't be awesome. But in this game mode, you wouldn't be able to play infantry. It would be tanks only, or say crewmen only. Only join a tank squad, and you would have to join a tank to leave the base, or put some artificial barrier or something just to stop the infantry from running out. That mode, like giving that to Hell Let Loose, would be another nice, unique thing for it. And lastly, I know this idea is never going to happen, but upgrade Hell Let Loose from whatever Unreal Engine 4 version it's on to Unreal Engine 5. I know there'll be a lot of work that'll be involved with that, and completely testing the entire game to make sure nothing's broken and everything works as it should do. But upgrading it to Unreal Engine 5 would just be an absolute win, right? It should come with no negatives. As long as the game works as it should, it would just look better, hopefully perform better, hopefully give the devs access to more technology so they could improve the game even more. Or failing that, just upgrade the Unreal Engine 4 version it's currently on. I don't know what version it's on, but this version doesn't have DLS support. It doesn't have other things that would probably make the game run better in these upgraded versions of Unreal Engine 4, so maybe look at that as well. So those are some ideas for improving Hell Let Loose. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you didn't like the video, give it a dislike. And thank you for watching this video to the end. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.